Hey everyone. Hope you're having a great day and a great week so far. I'm actually like really giddy to have this conversation with you guys and to have this coffee chat. Admittedly, I don't drink coffee afternoon and I'm Central Time. So I have like one sip left. I probably won't have that. I'm really strict with that guideline for myself, but to protect my hormone health, of course. So anyways, I'm so happy to have you guys here. Thank you for taking this time out of your day. I know it's kind of a tricky time for a lot of you guys, which is why we record it. So if you feel like you have to run or jump, don't feel bad. Don't hesitate to leave. We will send this recording to you immediately after we're done. So today, the big thing I want to go over is 5 ways to improve your hormone health. Like today, this week, this month, I want you guys to have takeaways that you feel confident that you will be able to use and add to your life and your lifestyle as is. So if you're brand new to CCN here, welcome. Welcome everybody, obviously, but especially if you're brand new, I want to share a little bit about that because that is the number one principle for improving our hormone health is following the CCN lifestyle, which like I said, if you're new here, I want to go over just briefly. So number one, actually, let me wait just a second and make sure Ashley is here admitting people into the room so I don't have to admit. And
I'm here, but I can't. Can you make me the host so I can let people in?
if I make you the host, can I talk?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Are you Ashley today or are you me?
Yep, I'm Ashley today. Normally
Okay.
I can normally I can reclaim it, but it perfect. Yep, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
You're the host. I am the talker, as
There you go.
usual. All right.
Yep.
So I used to actually be really bad at Zoom. This is me being good at Zoom now. But I go back and forth on my screens because I don't want to get off track because like I said, I have so much information to share with you guys. Much of it is stuff that you're already doing. So I want to encourage you guys. I read this meme yesterday or quote, whatever that said, don't lecture somebody that needs a hug. So I don't want to lecture you. I want to hug you. So this is my virtual hug. I know, hormone health is a really sensitive subject. And this isn't me telling you all the things that you're doing wrong, but just how close you are to doing them right and how easy they are to apply to your everyday lifestyle. So we have 5 steps, right? Each step I'm going to break down and give you a little bit more information so that you have the knowledge so you feel empowered. We're going to open up that chat after I go through all 5 and let you guys ask some questions related to your health and your hormones or anything about CCN and, the lifestyle that we teach. So the reason I say that it's a lifestyle is obviously nutrition is the foundation of any healthy lifestyle. We have our own philosophy over here that is it's a sustainable way to eat for the rest of your life and for your whole family. And it's a non-dieting, non-restrictive approach. So the number one way to improve your hormone health today is to eat for a stable blood sugar. When we eat for a stable blood sugar, that means, ladies, we are eating within that hour of waking up. Some research, the newest research is even showing within that 30 minutes of waking up is that perfect time for us ladies to eat. There's multiple reasons. One, our brain tells our bodies that it's time to burn fat as fuel. If our brains don't tell our bodies that, then we are likely to burn cortisol as energy. So our stress hormone as energy, which tells our fat cells, stay where you are. I got this. So then cortisol is a stress hormone. And that is, what the conversation is about today is not just reproductive hormones, estrogen and progesterone, but all the hormones, right? So first things first is eat within that hour of waking up. Second, is always combine your macronutrients. And we teach a lot about macros in our challenges. I just finished writing a macros class, but there's 3 macronutrients: fats, carbs, and proteins. So some of these get pegged as the bad and some get pegged as the good, but truthfully, they're all essential. And the most important thing is that you are learning how to combine them and balance them when you eat. So never eating a carb by itself, always combining that with fat and protein. But we do allow way more carbs in our program than some other like fitness programs or other, weight loss programs out there. The reason is carbs are very protective of the female hormone system. And assuming those are the right carbs for you. So, and again, we teach more about that. So balancing your macronutrients, your carbs, your fats, your proteins every single time you eat. Then eating every 3 to 4 hours after that. So our blood sugar in our body is going to come up slightly when we eat. And that's a good thing. That means we're going to be burning fat, or we're going to be using that energy to fuel energy cycles in our body, like Krebs cycle and ATP, and replenishing our glycogen in our muscle system. Hopefully that is understandable. So we need to eat every 3 to 4 hours to re-energize our body on a cellular level, not just like our output is like the physical level. We need to re-energize our body on a cellular level. So eat within the hour of waking up, always balance those macronutrients, and eat every 3 to 4 hours after that. One little part of our philosophy is to keep meal sizes consistent. So sometimes we see people just, grabbing a small, like 100-calorie snack, and that is not how we do it here. We want those meal sizes to be consistent. For somebody on a 1,600-calorie diet plan, that would be 400 calories every meal. Yes, we have snacks in our meals plans, but those are as calorie dense as our meals. They just look snacky. So keep that in mind. Meal size is consistent. The next aspect is for our overall health, our immune health. And when our immune health is compromised, our endocrine system is compromised as well. So eating 5 different colors of fruit and vegetables a day is going to provide you with amazing amounts of fiber, phytonutrients, and bioavailable vitamins and minerals immediately that we can use immediately. So the difference with like food and even some therapeutics is it works right away, like within an hour of taking it. Whereas sometimes like medicine, you have to build up. So 5 different colors a day is kind of our multivitamins, so to speak. Then we want you guys to be drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water each day. So for instance, I am probably somewhere around 140 pounds, which has kind of been my adult weight my entire adult life. So 70 ounces of water each day. We always talk more about electrolytes as we're in challenges, and I'm going to bring up electrolytes in our 5th topic as well. So that is the basis of the CCN philosophy, and obviously moving your body 4 times a week for at least 30 minutes, how it feels good. And we're going to go over that again in one of the next steps too. So eating within that hour of waking up, always combining your macronutrients, eating every 3 to 4 hours after that, keeping meal sizes consistent, adding 5 different colors of fruits and vegetables a day, half your body weight in ounces of water, and being active 4 times a week for 30 minutes minimum. So I think most people, are already really close to following that. This could be the missing puzzle piece for you, the missing link that, is that light bulb moment, like, oh my gosh, I could feel better immediately. And I'm not exaggerating when I say like immediately in my mind is in 4 days. So in 4 days of following that philosophy, you could start feeling better and you could start improving and healing your hormones. So keep that in mind. So that was all just number 1. Hopefully that wasn't too much information for you guys. So the second part, which is what I finished up with, is moving your body how it feels good. So exercising for the hormone stage that we are in, we are going to be touching on this more in our Fall Back to Health challenge as we really break down those hormone stages. So technically, ladies, there are 4 different stages of hormones for us. And it's that pubescent, prepubescent, like pre-cycle. And then we have cycling women, which seems like a forever stage until you're past it. And then we have perimenopause, and then we have menopause, so postmenopause. And it really matters the way that you exercise and treat and nurture your body at each stage of your hormone cycle. Like we can't just keep going harder, faster, longer As you're past, even 35 years old, you can't keep going as hard as you used to, or your adrenal system will start breaking down. So what if I told you that doing less would actually benefit your body more? Like, hello, I'm in, I don't have more hours in the day than everybody else. Like I can dedicate 40, 45 minutes, maybe 50 max to my exercise besides those mini walks, which we highly suggest micro walks every single time you eat, not when you're eating, after you're eating, to help your body regulate insulin release from the glucose in your bloodstream. So exercising for the hormone stage you're in means that you find a workout that feels good, not only while you're doing it, but after you're doing it. If you feel like you're exhausted or you have a headache, it's the wrong workout. So we highly encourage you guys to find a workout that works for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your hormone stage, okay? And like I said, we'll go over that more in depth in our Fall Back to Health challenge, but these are just 5 things that you can add to your life immediately. This is a big one and not enough conversation around it. So number 3 is reducing endocrine disruptors and improving drainage and detoxification. So I added that part in case you thoroughly reviewed what the topics were today. I added the improving drainage and detoxification. I'll be talking a lot more about that in our Fall Back to Health challenge. And if you've ever done a spring wellness renewal, you'll know some of these lifestyle practices that we will just be indulging you in, which are fun, less than 5 minutes a day. So if we are not draining properly, then that means we can't detox properly. And what I mean is a lot of times when we see hormonal issues, it's not that we're making too much of a certain hormone. A lot of times we're making the right amount of the hormones, but we're not detoxing them properly. And so you can like jump into a detox or whatever, but if your system is not draining through the right metabolic pathways, then we're going to be held up in the drainage pathways, not necessarily the detox pathways. So the drainage pathways, especially for hormones, are getting that lymphatic system strong. A lot of people are struggling with a sluggish lymphatic system, and that just means that it's your secondary circulation system, so your secondary circulatory system. And that means the blood isn't going through as effectively as it can, which means it is not removing waste as effectively as it can. And sometimes this even starts on a cellular level. So in our membership right now, we're talking about metabolism. Metabolism is literally an entire cellular process, right? Whereas other processes in the bodies, like the endocrine system, our hormones, are made up of glands and organs. So uniquely, our metabolic system has to be healthy for our endocrine system to be healthy. So yes, we know we need proper drainage to have proper detoxification. But what we want to make sure we're doing is reducing endocrine disruptors in the first place. So endocrine disruptors can be anything from like pesticides to phthalates to EPAs and BPAs and PFAs and all of those things that you see, warnings on, or you've heard like glyphosate, which is in Roundup, and they spray these. If you have an HOA, like be careful, which I do, by the way. In fact, they sprayed my water bottle at the pickleball courts, and I feel like I have not recovered. Maybe I'm just being overly sensitive, but I'm like, what is actually wrong with you? Do you realize glyphosate is extremely harmful to our endocrine system? So limiting and reducing endocrine disruptors in the first place will help our bodies automatically be able to detoxify and drain properly. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, you guys can ask questions at the end. I know this is kind of like a lot of information, but the biggest place we see this is I feel like people are aware of like plastics and plastic water bottles and like the PFAs in our water system. What I think people are still not aware of and pretty committed to are their beauty products, and even like personal care products. So skincare, makeup, whatever we use in our hair, shampoo, conditioner, spray, oils, all of that. Our lotions, even our hand soap, like that matters. So I've been teaching that about 70% of what we put on our skin can get into our bloodstream, and that can cause disruption if our body, it's the same as eating food that's not really food. Our bodies don't recognize it. And so it has to go through a whole like filtration process and removal process. And if we, if our toxin load gets too high, then it makes it nearly impossible for our bodies to drain properly. So reducing the toxic load and the endocrine disruptors is really the best way to start here. And then you add in like lifestyle ways to improve drainage and detoxification. So first is eating for a stable blood sugar, the CCN way of life. Second is exercising for the hormone stage that you're in, making your workouts work for you, not against you. Third is reducing endocrine disruptors and improving drainage and detoxification. This is like a 4-step process that I put all in one category. So sorry if that was a lot. Again, you can ask questions. The fourth, and this is always the most important, but it's hard to get there without the others. So sleep is the number one most important thing you can do to improve your hormones. But so many, experts are sleep more, sleep this, sleep that, but it is nearly impossible to get there unless you have a good food foundation and a good exercise foundation. So these are the two things that you need to be doing properly in order to get proper sleep. Yet sleep is always number one to improve any health aspects. So you see how you have to sometimes work backwards to improve forward. So something we talk a lot about when it comes to hormone health is circadian rhythm. And I strongly believe that circadian rhythm changes with the seasons, and it can change even with the hormone stages that we're in. So we will dive more into that when we are doing our Fall Back to Health challenge, just because it is kind of comprehensive and it's a lot of information. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but if you take note of improving your sleep habits and your sleep hygiene, the biggest aspect to that is getting to bed at a consistent window and waking up at a consistent window. And the reason I say consistent window instead of time is because I don't know what your life is like, but there is no way I could get to bed at the same time every single night. But I can get to bed in between like 9 and 10:30, right? So keep a window in mind. And that same thing goes for waking up. So like, I know sometimes you want to try to sleep in as long as you can on weekends or whatever, anytime you have a chance. But that really affects our circadian rhythm, just like staying up really late. So I feel like Ashley sent this to me. You have daytime friends and you have nighttime friends, and just to protect, my circadian rhythm and all of the obligations I have in my everyday life, I really prioritize those sleep windows. So that's the number one thing to having a healthy circadian rhythm in the first place, is having consistent sleep windows. So really try to work that into your lifestyle. So that was number 4. So we have one more topic to talk about. And this one is like the most groundbreaking in all of hormone health in the last like 5 years is minerals that we take, and then how minerals that we're depleted in and deficient in. So I have been reading and researching that most women are actually deficient in a couple minerals that are insanely important to your hormone health. There's 2 that you guys, I feel like, especially since the pandemic, one that everybody knows about that they are using. And I have a funny thing to say about this one is zinc. Okay. I love all the minerals. I love them equally. So don't get me wrong. Zinc is great for our immune system. It's great for our hormone health. It's great for our skin health. But did you know that too much zinc without the proper ratio of copper could actually cause premature graying? So that's just a fun fact. I'm really, really into natural anti-aging. I don't do a whole lot of, I don't do any unnatural anti-aging at this point. And so I learned that and I was like, what? So I want to teach on copper a little bit in the Fall Back to Health challenge too, because copper is also very important in our hormone health. The other hormone health queen, mineral, and you guys might have heard of this one too, is selenium. So selenium helps to regulate reproductive hormones for women. And we take these reproductive hormones into stages after we are still able to reproduce, by the way. So selenium is super important. That's why I start every day with 2 Brazil nuts and no more. They are basically my selenium mineral every single day. The big one that we see people completely deprived of is magnesium. And fun fact about magnesium, there are 11 different types of magnesium. So it's sort of like a B complex. That doesn't necessarily, the difference is I think we need a B altogether. I think B is a catalyst of each other. Research in my world has shown that. Magnesium isn't. So we don't necessarily, magnesium doesn't catalyze for other parts of magnesium. So that's the cool thing about magnesium. Each 11 different parts of magnesium have different jobs in the body. And minerals have an incredible amount of work to do in our bodies when it comes to our endocrine system. So regulating our minerals and making sure we are not deficient in certain minerals, especially selenium, magnesium, zinc, and yes, copper, will be a great way to quickly improve our hormone health. And then there's just one more that I wanted to talk about, and that's our electrolyte balance. So if you've done a summer challenge with us, we talk a lot about electrolytes, and we don't just need electrolytes when it's hot out. In fact, fun little story, I was playing pickleball in the heat and I just feel like, again, like depleted and not hungry. I don't know how you guys are when it's really hot out, but I just have a hard time with, having to use energy for digesting and food. So I'm going to go make a big smoothie after this, but I was getting a headache before this call just because I feel like I probably diminished my electrolytes, and I even drank electrolytes the whole time I was playing. But I went and had 1 granule of Celtic salt, and within, like, not kidding, 60 seconds, the headache went away. So there are so many powerful ways to use minerals. And the reason that we have to supplement them these days is because our soil in America, if you guys are international, this doesn't apply to you. Lucky you, your soil's not been degraded by your government. Well, I don't know every country in the world, but most European countries have amazing soil. So send me some of your soil. But our soil's been being degraded since 1938 and really changed in the 1950s. And so supplementation is a huge part of all areas of health and wellness, but especially endocrine health and hormone health. So I know you guys have probably, most of people have been to an endocrinologist at some point. And I even think, like, there's not a huge awareness of the impact of mineral depletion in our bodies to our hormone health. The minerals, like I said, that there's 11 different parts of magnesium and they all have different jobs. So we know, like, protein is the building blocks or amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. We know this stuff, but basically minerals are the building blocks of our hormones in our endocrine system. So just to review really quickly, I know I get long-winded here. I don't like to keep you guys for more than 40 minutes, and I want you guys to be able to ask some questions if you want to. But just to review, number 1 is eating for stable blood sugar. That is the CCN way of life. We invite you to come join us if you need to get back on track or you've never done it before. We're always welcoming to new people. It's a great community. Exercising for the hormone stage you're in. If your body doesn't like it, it will tell you. This is a sign. If you're super inflamed, if you're super tired, you need to find a different workout. Reducing endocrine disruptors so we can improve drainage and detoxification. That's number 3. Number 4 is improving sleep hygiene and circadian rhythm. And number 5 is improving that mineral intake. I know that can be a little bit mind-boggling, but our greatest overarching objective is to get you all to become the masters of your own body. We want you to understand when your hormones are off and how to get them back on track. And these 5 principles will help you within 4 days. So I hope that bit of information was helpful for you guys. If you are just so hungry for more. We invite you to join our Fall Back to Health Challenge. I think that Ashley's actually going to send a coupon code if you held out until now to register. Do you guys have any questions? Where are we asking questions here, Ashley? Do we have a chat?
Yeah, there's a chat. They can type in if they have any questions.
Okay, so you can either type in your question or you could unmute yourself and ask your question. Like I said, I know that was a lot to digest at once, and I know that each of those 5 steps are multifaceted, multi-level. But the best way to start, honestly, is with your food. You can't ever create a foundation of health without the proper food, those 5 colors a day, and balancing your macros. So Jill said, what kind of magnesium do you recommend? So very good question, Jill. We do a lot of like general suggestions, and then we also, more importantly, do bio-individual suggestions. So depending on the reason, like if you're just saying to improve your general hormone health, I like bio-optimizers, which is a multi-magnesium mineral. So bio-optimizers is a good place to start. I personally either take that or I take Mag Soothe every night. What's the brand of Mag Soothe? I forget. Every single night. And both of those are linked on our Amazon page too. So somebody said, talking about all the personal hygiene products, what hair care stuff do you recommend? So the hair care I use is Davon's, Davones. Most of the time I switch to Beauty Counter. And there's one other one that I use, but mostly Davon's. I have Davon's hairspray, hair oil, scalp treatment, shampoo, conditioner. And that's a French brand, but my hairdresser carries it. And I think it's pretty accessible here in the US. Jamie says, what kind of exercise is good for a woman age 46 and pre-menopause? So again, this is kind of a bio-individual question. It depends on how you're feeling too. But in general, I would say some strength training, like 3 days a week of strength. And it doesn't have to be like CrossFit strength. It could be like Pilates strength, slower, and then always walking. So in our membership, we encourage our members to get 8,000 steps a day. So always moving our bodies is a good idea in general, but definitely get at least 3 days of some level of strength training. Our muscles start to degrade after 35, ladies. And so it's very important that during this stage of perimenopause that we are maintaining a strong musculoskeletal system, because while we get wiser, our musculoskeletal system gets weaker. And that's just part of life. So Lori said, I do have a question. I go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning. Yuck, but it's the only time. How can I eat within the hour of waking up? So we always get this question, and it's great because you know what? You are the exception to the rule. You do not have to eat before you go to your workout. You can eat afterwards if that makes you feel good. But get that meal in within 30 minutes of your workout. Melanie says, do you have lists or suggestions for body products that don't have endocrine disruptors? We actually do. I don't know if you remember, but we have that linked in our membership portal. We have like a 4-page list of all of the products that we recommend to replace the ones that have endocrine disruptors. I don't know how else they can access that. Ashley, do you?
No, it's just for our members. So it's inside the member portal because it's on one of the months we talked about it. We broke it down, all our favorite brands and all the things. And so we would love for you to join our membership if you aren't already a member.
Yes. But we do actually use EWG.org a lot, an environmental working group. They have a search engine that you can type any product in and see the, I think it's like between 0 and 8 or something like that. So you can see the threshold of how toxic it is. I make my daughters do that because they like to go to Kroger by themselves and buy beauty products. And so they have to search it up first. That's what they say in the South, search it up instead of look it up. Okay, Karen said, I quit my HRT meds and I am having issues with sleep, taking magnesium CBD. I wake every 2 hours and feels like a light sleep help. I have to cut back on cardio and just doing weights and walking. I'm postmenopausal. Okay, so this, Karen, this is a lot of things. The magnesium and CBD are great options. I would recommend turning off any blue lights for 2 hours before you sleep and really giving yourself like a toddler bedtime routine, where you kind of can settle like your nervous system down and get your body into parasympathetic nervous system. And I would even consider a melatonin supplement, just because it sounds like you're struggling with some high cortisol issues. And look up circadian rhythm and cortisol issues after this, Karen, and see what you find, because I think that will be really helpful. And we talk about, hormones being yin to the yang. Well, cortisol is the yin to the yang of melatonin. And so when cortisol goes down, melatonin goes up. When melatonin goes down, cortisol goes up. So if you're having cortisol issues, which I'm not a doctor, but that's what it sounds like, then you need to be regulating your cortisol. So that's what I would do if that was me. You can email me too for more specifics. And also, if you're not already eating the CCN way of life, then obviously you need to start there too, because that helps to regulate your cortisol. Do you recommend compounded bioidentical hormones for menopause? Again, that's a bio-individual question. I can say that bioidentical hormones are better options than synthetic hormones, but it really is between you and your integrative specialist. So I would definitely see an integrative hormone doctor if you can find one and see what they think, because like I'm saying, a lot of times it's not a matter of not producing enough of something. It's a matter of not being able to detoxify the excess of something else. So progesterone, estrogen, yin to yang, right? So if we're overproducing one because it's not draining, then we're sometimes going to be like struggling with the other, if that makes sense. I had a total hysterectomy 15 years ago. I've been on bioidentical hormones for that long. I feel it's time to come off of them. Are there any other principles I can put into motion for feeling good? These 5 principles will really help you. And some of them may be harder to manage as you're resetting your body. I would either, work with one of our nutritionists on staff or even an integrative specialist, just to make sure that your diet is completely supporting the shift in your body that's about to happen. But I love that you're thinking of doing that. So Katie said, outside of blood work, seeing a doctor, is there a way to identify what minerals you may be missing? No, I actually think that, and I don't always recommend blood work, but blood work or so hair follicle testing is really good for mineral deficiencies, and so is saliva. So I would look for maybe a bioresonance practitioner or biophoton practitioner, and look to do a hair or saliva evaluation for your minerals. So the blood, I think the blood tells us a lot, but the blood tells us more like major chronic issues going on, whereas like minerals can ebb and flow technically. So yeah, I would definitely do saliva or hair. Is feeling tired throughout the day, even though you get decent amount of sleep, a sign that your hormones may be unbalanced? Yes, absolutely. Fatigue is a sign of everything, but generally like the top, which is why people always blame their hormones, but the top of that is like, hormone imbalance, adrenal issues. So if your adrenals are run out because you've relied on cortisol for a long time, then it's going to cause fatigue. If you're mineral deficient, it's going to cause fatigue. Where I would start is actually with an electrolyte, a non-toxic electrolyte, not like Pedialyte or Gatorade or something like that, but one of the ones we recommend. I would start there and see if that helps with your fatigue. And then I would make sure you're not drinking too much coffee. So Jill says, recommendations for ways to decrease blood sugar if you're having sweets or desserts: to eat protein with it. So eat your protein before you have your sweets or desserts, or incorporate your sweets dessert as part of your dinner macro ratio, rather than having them separately. Somebody else said, I'm going to take just a couple more minutes of questions. I have Hashimoto's, and in September, it'll be a year without a period. Menopause, struggling to lose weight, have had hormones checked, and I'm on bioestrogen, DHEA. Let's see. Any other supplements? I absolutely struggling to change my body. So this would be you would be a very good person to have individualized services. This is like, again, multifaceted. Obviously, start by following these 5, maybe jump in a challenge, see if that helps. Otherwise, we would recommend individual services for you just to really reset your health. Sometimes it takes like a full 21, 28 days just to jumpstart. And then it takes a full 3 months commitment to really like see changes. But the good news is you feel changes before you see them. So any last minute questions? Those were some really great questions. Thank you guys for bringing them up. If I didn't get to it, or if I wasn't thorough enough, please feel free to reach out. But definitely we welcome you to join our Fall Back to Health Challenge. We are teaching a lot on hormone health, circadian rhythm, more on minerals, and going more in depth on what we just discussed. So thank you guys for being here. We'll let you go get about the rest of your day, and let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to email us. We'll talk to you soon.